Hey, in this one I'm going to show you another socket pattern which is called replier requester. So yeah, as I mentioned before, like on top of like the actual network and transport protocols and so on, ZeroMQ has all kinds of different what it calls patterns, which I mean in my mind is just application level protocol kind of thing. And so I showed you in the previous examples, in the previous videos, the publisher subscriber, because this is just an easy one to get started with. But there is I don't know, 10, 15 others, I'm not sure. And one of the one I use the most in conjunction with, well, next to a publisher subscriber is replier requester. So what replier requester is kind of like your regular client-server application. So you have a client, here the requester sends a request to the server, which in this case is the replier, and the replier sends back an answer. So that's basically it. So let's quickly do something like that. So yeah, you can see I have the little main that I usually use for these things. Nothing fancy. I just have a context. So let's create a replier socket. ZeroMQ socket is the context, and the type is going to be ZeroMQ replier. So rep. Let's close this socket. Replier. Let's have a little loop while we're running. We do stuff. And so the thing about the request reply pattern is that the order of the receives and sends matters. So the requester has to send first, and then it receives a message from the replier. If you try to receive first in the requester, it will crash. Well, it won't crash, like the receive will fail and you will get a no error and so on. So yeah, the send receive order matters. So the replier, what it does first, well, it receives a message. So let's do zero receive on the replier into a buffer of size, I don't know, something. With 0, let's create this buffer, 64 plus 1, something. We need to get the size. This is what I do in every video so far, to just quickly receive a little message, like so. And we can printf that we received this message. Buffer, like so. And after we've received something, we have to send something back. And so let's just create a response buffer, like so, is equal to, let's say, 64, because we want to include the other one and some other big number, why not? And let's put something in there. So response buffer, you send this message, some random number. Let's send them back a random number, because why not? So let's just input the buffer and some random number below 100, like so. Up, and then we just send this. So ZeroMQ send via on the replier. We send the response buffer, which has size of a. Let's just do the string length of the response buffer, and 0 on the flags. All right, and I think that's it for the replier. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Up, I do need to like concatenate the lines a little bit so that you can see. Let's try to compile this. It works, and we can run it. And of course, there is no requester doing anything for now, so it just waits on the receive forever. Now let's just maybe let's maybe kill that and create a new tab and run the replier here instead. So it will just run, and we'll come back to it later. And then now let's make a requester. up, like so. Again, I have my little main that I do every time. So let's just have a, now we create a requester socket, like so. Socket takes the context, and the type will be ZeroMQ. You guessed it, rep. You have to close that socket, of course, like so. And let's just loop over the arguments and send them one by one. For int I to make it a bit interactive. So I++, and we are going to do ZeroMQ send on the requester, because the requester initiates the connection. We're going to send that, we need to get the length of it. So, and there is 0 flags. Boom. Okay. In my example that I typed earlier, I will let them print as well. Why not? We can include it. And then we're gonna store the response in the buffer of 128 plus 1 bytes. Maybe you're getting tired of me typing this by now, but hey, it has to stay simple for now. So we put that in the buffer of 128 0 stuff and bytes, and let me copy over the thing so that we don't waste any more of your time. And let's just printf that we received some stuff. Boom. Like so, and in the buffer. And let's sleep a bit as well. Boom. This is in microseconds, so this is half a second. So now our replier is still running in the background, so let's quickly test our requester and see what happens. So here I compile my requester, and let's just send my name for now alone. So I'm sending that, and I'm getting nothing. Let me check why. Well, of course, it's the thing I forgot every single time. I forgot to connect every single time, so the requester has to connect to the replier. So, yeah, the connect bind and the subscription for the subscribers, I always forget those, and then there is nothing happening, and I'm like, oh, why? But obviously there is a reason why. So we go in the replier. I think I forgot to bind that one as well. So ZeroMQ bind the replier. If there is no endpoint, nothing will ever happen. Replier. Let's compile the replier and relaunch it, like so. And now we do need to recompile the requester. And if we request again, this time I'm unsure what's happening. Okay, I think it's just late and I'm a bit tired. I put my requester socket as a replier socket, so yeah, of course, that makes no sense whatsoever. So let's fix that, and this time run it. And I think probably should restart that one as well, because okay, this video is gonna go in the meme playlist. I have a strong feeling. Indeed, this is what happens when you write code and you're tired. I forgot to write a port. So yeah, let's add the port. Let's add the port. Let's recompile everything. Okay. Let's restart my replier. And let's request stuff. And oh, okay. Finally, it works. So we can see that it sent Charles, and then it received the message that the replier sent. And as you can see, I'm gonna do a little demonstration. So let's put some other names in there. Like I can send multiple of them, and it's like send, receive, send, receive, send, receive, send, receive, and so on and so on. Let's say I would try to send twice in a row. I think I would just well, it wouldn't show directly, but I would get an error, I think. I guess not. Maybe that's because the error is like silent. Let's check. I'm getting curious now. Well, I'm already sidetracked. Yeah, there is a ZeroMQ as its own errno thing. And it has also its own like, ZMQ str error thing. Yeah, the guys that made this, they really love the Unix, I think. Yeah, okay. Oh, well. No? Don't do that? Yeah, maybe I'm going too far, but basically you get like an error no code, which is EFSM, because behind under the hood, like the reply request thing has a little state machine, and if you send them in the wrong order, you just get an error. But well, it crashes, but I'm not sure it crashes for the right reason, because I don't think it's actually okay. Maybe it does crash when you try to do this. Okay, well, it crashes. There's your answer. I'm not sure that it should. Don't quote me on that. But anyway. Yeah, another thing I wanted to show you before I went on this random tangent is that I can have multiple clients, so multiple requesters. So let's say I spawn one requester here and one requester here. You can see that they're independent. Like, yeah, they receive their own random numbers, and like a requester which send this request will be like every single client has its own identity, and the replier can distinguish between them, is my point. So anyway, I've went on for too long in this video fixing random sleepy bugs, so I'm gonna leave you here, and I hope you at least learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.